This was legal. But this was enough to get you in prison. Now, what's the difference, you might ask? Well, in this video, we'll dive into the Gold Reserve Act, the law that made it illegal for U.S. citizens to own gold. The story starts here, in Washington and the White House. The Gold Reserve Act was signed into law by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1934. The act made it illegal for U.S. citizens to own gold except for some limited exemptions, such as jewelry and rare coins. The government mandated that all gold bullion and coins be turned into the Federal Reserve in exchange for paper currency at a fixed rate of $20.67 per ounce. The government aimed to stabilize the economy during the Great Depression by controlling the money supply and inflation. As you can imagine, the Gold Reserve Act was met with a lot of controversy and public outrage. Many people believed that the government was infringing on their individual rights and that the law was unconstitutional. Some even compared the government's actions to those of a communist regime. But despite the backlash, the government enforced the law, and it remained in effect until 1971 when President Nixon abolished the gold standard. The United States was not the only country to restrict gold ownership. In the early 20th century, many countries experienced economic instability, and some governments believed that hoarding gold contributed to the problem. Many countries, including the United Kingdom, France, and Germany, also restricted gold ownership during this time. However, these restrictions were generally lifted after World War II. Before the Gold Reserve Act, the U.S. dollar was backed by gold, which meant that other countries could exchange their dollars for gold. This system, known as the gold standard, helped to facilitate international trade. However, after the Great Depression, the U.S. government needed to stimulate the economy, and the gold standard was hindering its efforts. The government needed to print more money, but it couldn't do so while maintaining the gold standard. By confiscating gold and devaluing the dollar, the government was able to print more money and stimulate the economy. The Gold Reserve Act had a significant impact on the U.S. economy. The government's goal to stabilize the economy during the Great Depression by controlling the money supply and inflation succeeded. However, some critics argue that the Gold Reserve Act actually worsened the Great Depression by decreasing the money supply and preventing people from investing in gold, a traditionally safe investment during times of economic turmoil. Even though the Gold Reserve Act was repealed in 1971, its legacy can still be seen today. The U.S. dollar is no longer backed by gold, and the government is able to print money as it sees fit, leading some to argue that the value of the dollar has decreased over time. Additionally, the idea of government control over currency and individual assets is still a hotly debated topic, with some arguing that individual rights should take precedence over government intervention in economic affairs. The Gold Reserve Act serves as a reminder of the power of government intervention in the economy and the potential consequences of such actions. It also highlights the importance of individual rights and freedoms, particularly in the realm of economics. As society continues to grapple with economic issues, government actions and effects on individual rights are of great importance. So, what's the difference between owning gold legally and illegally? Well, it all depends on whether the government says it's okay. But one thing's for sure, the Gold Reserve Act was a pivotal moment in U.S. economic history, and it sparked a lot of controversy and debate. Who knew that something as simple as owning gold could cause so much trouble? As always, thanks for watching, and remember, stay on the right side of the law, folks.